While most of us are familiar with the concept of fingerprints being unique to every individual, there's another lesser-known part of our body that has a unique print: our tongue. Yes, you read that right. Like fingerprints, everyone's tongue print is different, and it can be used as a method of identification. The concept of tongue prints was first introduced in the early 20th century by a French scientist named Alphonse Bertillon. Bertillon was interested in the idea of using physical characteristics to identify individuals, and he believed that the unique patterns on the tongue could be used for this purpose. So, how do tongue prints differ from fingerprints? While fingerprints are made up of ridges and grooves, tongue prints consist of tiny bumps and ridges that are arranged in a unique pattern. These patterns are formed by the papillae on the surface of the tongue, which are small projections that contain taste buds. There are 4 types of papillae that are found on the tongue: fungiform, foliate, circumvallate, and filiform. Each of these types of papillae has a different shape and size, which contributes to the overall pattern on the tongue. To create a tongue print, a person's tongue is pressed against a flat surface, such as a piece of paper or a glass plate. The tongue is then coated with a dye, which highlights the ridges and bumps on the surface. Once the dye has been applied, a clear image of the tongue print can be obtained. So, why would anyone want to use tongue prints for identification? There are several reasons why this could be useful. For one, tongue prints are much harder to fake than fingerprints. While it's possible to create a fake fingerprint using materials like silicone or gelatin, it's much more difficult to create a fake tongue print. Additionally, tongue prints can be useful in situations where a person's fingerprints are damaged or obscured, such as if they have been burned or injured. In these cases, a tongue print could be used as an alternative method of identification. While tongue prints may not be as widely used as fingerprints for identification purposes, there have been some instances where they have been used successfully. In 2002, a man in Japan was convicted of robbery after his tongue print was matched to a print found on a bottle at the crime scene. Similarly, in 2016, a man in the United States was arrested for burglary after his tongue print was found on a window at the crime scene. While the concept of tongue prints may seem unusual, it's just one example of how our bodies can be used for identification purposes. From fingerprints to DNA to even the way we walk, there are many unique characteristics that make each of us one of a kind. And while tongue prints may not be as well known as fingerprints, they're just one more way that our bodies can help us be identified and distinguished from one another. In conclusion, everyone's tongue print is different, just like fingerprints. Tongue prints are created by the unique pattern of bumps and ridges on the surface of the tongue, which are formed by the papillae. Tongue prints can be used for identification purposes, as they are much harder to fake than fingerprints and can be useful in situations where fingerprints are damaged or obscured. While tongue prints may not be as widely used as fingerprints for identification, they're just one more way that our bodies can help distinguish us from one another.